Downtown Los Angeles. Friday gala. Champagne. Flashes. Luxury cars. Evelyn Chase, 33. Billionaire CEO of Chase Automotive. Red gown. Power. She steps from her limousine and notices a parking attendant struggling with an old car. She smirks, tosses her hair, raises her voice. "If you can start that car, I'll kiss you." Laughter erupts. The man glances up, calm, steady, grease on his hands. He turns the key once. The engine roars to life. Silence crashes down. Evelyn's smile falters. She doesn't know that man once designed engines for her company before she fired him. Ryan Cole, 36 years old, single father to Sophie, age 8. He was once the top automotive engineer at Chase Automotive, respected across the industry for his precision and innovation. He designed 3 award-winning engines, led teams of 50 people, dreamed of changing the world one vehicle at a time. Then the pandemic hit. The company hemorrhaged money. New cost-cutting measures were implemented ruthlessly, and Evelyn Chase, fresh from inheriting the company from her late father, made a choice. Lay off experienced, higher-paid employees to boost short-term profits. Ryan was one of the first to go. That was 2 years ago. Now Ryan works 2 jobs, mornings and afternoons at a local mechanic shop, nights as a valet at premium downtown venues. Every penny goes into a single goal, keeping Sophie in her private school, the place her mother always wanted her to be before cancer took his wife away. Sophie was 6 when she lost her mother. Now 8, she barely remembers her mother's face, only her voice on old videos. Ryan has made it his mission to give Sophie the life her mother dreamed of, even if that meant his own dreams had to wait. He never told Sophie the truth about his old job. When she asked where Daddy goes all day, he simply said, "I help fix dreams on wheels, sweetheart." She accepted this without question, the way children do. Evelyn Chase is 33, brilliant, driven, and disconnected. She inherited Chase Automotive as the only child of a legendary founder. While her board expected her to maintain the company's legacy, Evelyn saw a failing business that needed drastic measures. She made the hard decisions, the cold decisions, the profitable decisions. She cut costs, fired experienced staff, eliminated unnecessary divisions. She never thought about the individual people behind those cuts. They were line items on a spreadsheet, losses to be managed, not human beings with families depending on their paychecks. The gala on Friday night is meant to celebrate the company's recovery. Share prices are up, profits are healthy. The crisis has been averted. Evelyn walks the red carpet, smiling for cameras, feeling proud of her ruthlessness. She doesn't think about the people she fired. She doesn't have time for guilt. When she sees Ryan at the valet station, struggling with an old Cadillac from the 1960s, something amuses her. Here is honest labor. Here is someone working the lowest rung of society. Here is a reminder of how far she has climbed. She makes the joke without malice, just casual cruelty. "If you can start that car, I'll kiss you." The crowd laughs. It's a harmless bit of mockery, the kind powerful people make all the time. A billionaire teasing a valet. It's funny because of the power imbalance. It's funny because everyone knows he won't succeed. But Ryan recognizes her face from company photos and news articles. He realizes exactly who this woman is. He realizes she doesn't recognize him. Part of him wants to let the car stay dead, to walk away, to accept the small humiliation as penance for daring to believe the world was fair. But he thinks of Sophie. He thinks of the car designs he built. He thinks of the pride he once had, before pride became a luxury he couldn't afford. He wipes his hands on his jeans. He approaches the Cadillac. He places his hand on the steering wheel, feeling the weight of the engine, understanding its language the way he always has. He turns the key once. The engine roars to life. It's perfect. It's beautiful. It's exactly how an engine should sound when someone who truly understands it brings it back to consciousness. The crowd gasps. Cameras flash. Silence fills the space where laughter used to be. Evelyn's smile dies on her face. Ryan hands her the keys with steady hands and says quietly, "Some things just need the right touch, ma'am." He walks away before she can respond, before she can recognize him, before any of this becomes real. That night, he drives home thinking about dignity, about pride, about second chances he doesn't believe in. He has no idea that his moment of quiet excellence will be captured on video. He has no idea that by morning, the internet will know his name. And he has absolutely no idea that Evelyn Chase will spend the entire night unable to sleep, wondering who that man was, and why his calm competence felt like a mirror held up to her own hollowness. By sunrise, the video has gone viral. CEO mocked parking attendant. Then he owned the moment reads the headline on every major news platform. 40 million views within 12 hours. Comments flooded with praise. The real CEO is the valet. Now that's class. She got humiliated and didn't even know it. Social media transforms Ryan into a symbol of dignity. Brands reach out wanting him to endorse products. A luxury watch company offers him $50,000 for a single Instagram post. A car manufacturer wants him to be the face of their new campaign. He turns it all down. He doesn't want to be famous, he just wants his life back. But being famous is exactly what happens next. Evelyn's PR team is in chaos. Shareholders are calling. The company's reputation is being reframed from successful turnaround to ruthless CEO humiliated by working-class hero. Every news cycle brings new angles, new interpretations, all of them damaging. Evelyn's advisors tell her to issue a statement. A harmless joke between friends. A misunderstanding. No hard feelings. The standard deflection that powerful people use when they get caught being themselves. But Evelyn can't stop thinking about his eyes, about the way he said, "Some things just need the right touch." She realizes, for the first time in a very long time, that she has been touched by something honest. Against every piece of advice from her team, Evelyn personally visits the parking lot where Ryan works the next evening. She finds him wiping down a BMW, moving with the same quiet competence he showed at the gala. "Mr. Cole," she says, and his body goes rigid at the sound of his name spoken by her voice. He turns around slowly. Recognition flashes across his face. He knows exactly who she is. "Ms. Chase," he says, his voice carefully neutral. "I wanted to apologize for the gala, for the mockery. It was unprofessional and unkind." He listens without interrupting, hands still gripping the cloth, shoulders still carrying the weight of his double life. "Respect isn't a headline, Ms. Chase," he finally says. "It's a habit, and habits are formed by the small choices we make every single day." The words land harder than any physical blow ever could. Evelyn feels them settle into the spaces where her conscience used to live before she buried it under spreadsheets and quarterly earnings. "You're right," she says quietly. "I know I am," he replies, not with arrogance, but with the simple certainty of someone who knows his own worth. That conversation changes something inside Evelyn. She realizes that apologies without action are just words. Respect without sacrifice is just performance. The next week, she announces a company-wide innovation challenge. Anyone, from the CEO suite to the maintenance staff, can submit ideas for the company's next major project. The winner will receive full funding and creative control. She carefully avoids mentioning Ryan directly, but her secret hope is transparent to anyone paying attention. Maybe he'll come back. Maybe he'll show her what he was capable of building before she destroyed his career. Ryan doesn't apply. He's too busy working 2 jobs, too focused on survival mode to think about dreams. But fate, or perhaps the universe's sense of justice, intervenes differently. Sophie gets lost in a downtown cafe. She's 8 years old, separated from her after-school program, scared and alone. Evelyn is there, having lunch with a business associate, when she notices a small girl crying by the hostess stand. She approaches Sophie gently, sits beside her, listens to her story with genuine care. When Sophie realizes her hair clip is missing, Evelyn spends 20 minutes helping her search through the cafe. They find it caught in a chair cushion. "Thank you, lady," Sophie says, her fear transforming into shy gratitude. "You're welcome. What's your name?" "Sophie. My dad says kindness makes engines run smoother." Evelyn's blood stops moving through her veins. Engines? She asks carefully. Mm-hmm. He works with cars. He fixes dreams on wheels. Evelyn asks seemingly casual questions, and slowly, from Sophie's innocent answers, she pieces it together. The father, the single-parent household, the sacrifice, the dignity. She drives Sophie home herself, insisting on it, telling the panicked after-school coordinator that she's a friend of the family. When Ryan opens his apartment door to find Evelyn standing there with his daughter, his face cycles through confusion, alarm, and recognition of what this moment means. Sophie helped me find something today, Evelyn says carefully. I thought I should return the favor. After Sophie goes to bed, they sit on his tiny apartment's worn couch, the same couch where he spends his few hours of sleep between jobs. I'm reopening the prototype lab, Evelyn says. It's where we develop next-generation projects. I want you to lead it. I want you to build whatever you've been dreaming about. I design cars, not corporate redemption, Ryan says flatly. Maybe we can build both, Evelyn replies softly. He considers this for a long moment, this woman who destroyed his career and is now asking him to save hers. One condition, he finally says. I work with my own team, my own rules. No corporate interference, no cost-cutting. We do this right, or we don't do it at all. Evelyn nods immediately. Done. I'll draw up the contracts myself. But Ryan knows this isn't just about business. He knows something shifted in both of them that night at the gala. Something that's waiting to be discovered in shared sacrifice and rebuilding. The prototype lab becomes their sanctuary. Weeks blur together. Ryan arrives at 6 a.m. and doesn't leave until midnight. Evelyn stops attending board meetings, stops taking investor calls, stops pretending that quarterly earnings matter more than the work of creation. They're building something that hasn't existed before. It's a new engine design that Ryan conceived years ago, back when he still believed his work could change the world. He called it Project Phoenix because it represented rebirth, transformation, the possibility of rising from ashes. His late wife, Sophie's mother, had always loved the Phoenix mythology. She would read the stories to little Sophie before the cancer took her voice away. So when Ryan named the project Phoenix, he was carrying his wife's memory into his work, honoring her belief that miracles are possible. Evelyn has never seen anything like the way Ryan works. He doesn't approach the engine as a collection of problems to be solved. He approaches it as a conversation between human intention and mechanical truth. He listens to the engine. He feels its resistance. He understands its language in a way that transcends technical drawings and specifications. How do you know what to do? Evelyn asks one night, watching him adjust a fuel injector with absolute precision. I listen, he says simply. Most engineers try to impose their will on the machine. I try to understand what the machine is trying to become. Evelyn realizes that this is exactly what her leadership was missing. She imposed, she controlled, she never listened, never tried to understand what her company wanted to become, what her employees needed, what the market was actually demanding. She watches Ryan and learns a different language of power, not the power to destroy or dominate, but the power to enable, to listen, to guide something toward its truest potential. During late nights in the lab, when they're the only two people in the building, they begin to talk, real conversations, the kind where pretense dissolves and truth becomes the only option. Ryan tells her about losing his wife, about the terror of raising a daughter alone, about the moment he learned he was fired, sitting in his car in the parking lot, unable to go home because he didn't know how to tell Sophie that their world was collapsing. Evelyn tells him about inheriting a company and feeling instantly inadequate, about the weight of her father's legacy, about making decisions that she thought were necessary, but that hollowed her out from the inside, about the guilt she felt but never acknowledged, never allowed herself to process. I was so scared of failure, she admits one night, that I became the thing I feared most. I destroyed people to avoid losing everything. And now, Ryan asks. Now I'm building with someone who understands that destroying is easy. Creating is the hard part. He teaches her how to read a technical specification like it's a love letter. She teaches him how to navigate corporate politics without compromising integrity. They become partners, not just in the lab, but in understanding what it means to rebuild yourself when everything else has fallen apart. Sophie visits the lab on weekends. She loves watching her father work. She sketches on old blueprints. She asks questions that make Ryan and Evelyn both laugh and think simultaneously. One afternoon, Sophie asks, "Why do you two look at each other like you're trying to remember something you forgot?" They both freeze. The answer hangs in the air between them, but neither one speaks it yet. It's too fragile, too new, too important to be defined or named too quickly, but it's there. Then the sabotage happens. A board member, jealous of Evelyn's renewed purpose and threatened by her partnership with Ryan, deliberately introduces contaminated fuel into the prototype engine during testing. During a live demo, the engine explodes. Ryan's hand catches fire. Flames erupt. Evelyn screams and rushes to him, dousing the flames with her own body, pulling him away from the wreckage. His right hand is badly burned. His arm is blistered and bleeding. His eyes are wide with shock and pain. But his first words are about the engine. Project Phoenix, everything we built, is just machines, Evelyn says fiercely, pressing a clean cloth to his burns. You're a person. You matter more. By that evening, the press has the story. Disgraced engineer fails again. Project Phoenix explodes during test. The headlines are vicious. The narrative shifts instantly. All the momentum, all the rebuilding they'd accomplished is reframed as arrogance and recklessness. Ryan, sitting in the hospital with his hand wrapped in bandages, tells Evelyn he's quitting. "I can't do this," he says. "I can't fail in front of my daughter again. I can't be the cautionary tale. I can't be the failure she sees every day." Evelyn sits beside him and repeats her words from the gala, but differently now. "You didn't fail, Ryan. You just stalled. Let's restart. I don't have anything left to give. Then I'll give for both of us." She pledges her personal wealth to rebuild the project, not company money, her own money, the kind of commitment that tells him she believes in this more than she believes in her own security. "Start the car again," she says, taking his unburned hand. "And maybe this time I'll kiss you the way I should have from the beginning." He smiles through the pain. "Then watch me make it sing." They rebuild the engine. This time the prototype is stronger, more resilient, engineered not just for performance but for survival. Every scar from the explosion is incorporated into the design, making it more beautiful than it would have been without the damage. The press gathers for a relaunch demo, skeptical, waiting for another disaster. Ryan turns the key. The engine roars to life. Not the roar of aggression or dominance, but the roar of something that has suffered and been remade more powerful. It hums with perfect precision. It runs cleaner, stronger, more efficiently than any engine before it. Cheers erupt. Evelyn looks at him. "You did it." Ryan replies, "No, we did." Standing on stage before cameras and journalists, Evelyn makes an announcement that shocks everyone, including her board. She fires the saboteur on the spot, publicly naming his betrayal. And then she announces that Ryan Cole is now Chief Innovation Engineer of Chase Automotive, with complete authority over the company's entire research division. The position comes with a salary that will change his life. It comes with benefits that will ensure Sophie's future. It comes with a title that says, "This man was right to believe in himself, and I was wrong to ever doubt him." Project Phoenix becomes the centerpiece of the company's new identity. Within months, the sustainable engine design wins awards from environmental organizations. The technology attracts interest from major automakers around the world. The company's stock price doubles, then triples. But more importantly, the narrative shifts. Chase Automotive stops being known for ruthlessness and starts being known as a company that honors talent and embraces redemption. Journalists write profile pieces titled "From Arrogance to Authenticity: How Chase Automotive Learned to Listen." The story becomes about transformation, about leadership that admits mistakes and corrects course, about the power of second chances. Ryan uses his first substantial paycheck to establish the Sophie's Garage Scholarship Fund, providing financial support to the children of mechanics, technicians, and working-class professionals who want to enter technical fields. Everyone deserves a chance to rebuild their dreams, he says in an interview. The statement's so earnest and humble that it goes viral in an entirely different way. Not mockery now, respect. Evelyn comes to the lab more often these days, though there's less urgent work to be done. The prototype is complete. The engineering is sound. She comes because she wants to be near Ryan, near this person who has taught her what integrity looks like, what courage sounds like, what second chances feel like when they're real. One evening, she arrives to find Ryan teaching Sophie how to drive the Phoenix prototype in the company parking lot. They move in slow circles, Ryan's hands guiding Sophie's on the steering wheel, her face concentrated in the way of children taking on adult responsibilities for the first time. "She's got better steering than I do," Evelyn laughs from the sidelines. Ryan grins. "She's got better guidance." When Sophie finally exits the car, giddy with accomplishment, she runs to Evelyn and hugs her without asking permission. It's a moment of such simple acceptance that it breaks something open in Evelyn's chest. Later, after Sophie falls asleep in the back office of the lab on a cot they've set up for these long work nights, Ryan and Evelyn stand together looking at the engine, the Phoenix, the thing they built from loss and failure and the decision to try again. "Do you remember the first time I saw you?" Ryan says. "At the gala? I wanted to disappear. I thought having a billionaire CEO mock me was the end of something, but it turned out to be a beginning. I was so blind," Evelyn says. "I looked right at you and didn't see anything except an opportunity for a joke. You saw what you'd been taught to see. Power versus powerlessness, CEO versus valet. But there was never a hierarchy between us. There was just me and you, two people who had both given up on their own worth." Evelyn turns to face him fully. "I haven't given up on mine since I met you." "Neither have I," Ryan admits, "because you refused to let me." They kiss then, not because of a dare or a promise made at a gala. They kiss because they have earned it through rebuilding, through vulnerability, through the slow work of teaching each other that second chances are real and worth fighting for. The kiss tastes like motor oil and redemption, like grief transformed into purpose, like two people discovering that the thing they were both looking for was standing right in front of them the whole time. A newspaper hangs framed in Evelyn's office now. Phoenix rises, from valet to visionary. The headline that seemed like mockery is now a celebration of transformation. But more importantly, there's a framed blueprint beside it. Not the Phoenix engine design, but an earlier one. A sketch Ryan made years ago, before the layoffs, before the collapse of his career. It shows an engine that dreams of becoming something greater than itself. Evelyn displays both because they represent the same truth. Everyone is an engine waiting for someone who believes in them enough to turn the key. Ryan finally takes Evelyn to meet Sophie's school, finally introduces her as someone permanent in their lives. The teachers recognize her from the news, from the viral gala story, from the articles about Project Phoenix. But they treat her not as a CEO or a celebrity. They treat her as Sophie's father's partner, as a woman who chose to rebuild instead of retreat, as someone learning alongside everyone else. That grace is the hardest thing to extend, especially to yourself. Sophie comes home from school one day and announces, matter-of-factly, "I told my friends that Miss Evelyn helped Daddy build the best engine in the world, and that they started by helping each other when they both felt broken." Ryan and Evelyn exchange glances and simultaneously understand that their daughter, because she is becoming their daughter, their shared family, has understood the entire journey more clearly than either of them. 1 year after the Phoenix engine launch, Chase Automotive hosts an anniversary celebration. Not a gala, not an exclusive event for the elite. An open celebration in the company hangar, attended by engineers and mechanics, designers and dreamers, people who have helped build something that matters. Sophie, now 9 years old and completely confident in her role as ambassador of the company's values, takes the microphone to introduce the ceremony. Her voice is clear and certain. "My dad built the engine, but Miss Evelyn, she's actually my other mom now, kind of officially as of last month. We're a family." She helped him believe in it. And that's the harder job. Believing in people, helping them rebuild. That's the real engineering. The crowd erupts in applause. Camera flashes capture the moment. But what they're capturing isn't a news story anymore. It's a truth. Evelyn steps forward and unveils the company's new brand slogan. Drive with dignity. It appears on every vehicle, every advertisement, every piece of company communication. It's a commitment to the values that the Phoenix Project taught her, that power without conscience is hollow, that success without integrity is bankruptcy, that the only vehicles worth building are ones that honor the people who drive them and the people who build them. Ryan comes on stage carrying something wrapped in protective cloth. He unwraps it slowly. It's the original key, the one from the vintage Cadillac at the gala, the key that started everything. It's been mounted in a display case, engraved with words, for the woman who learned to start again. Evelyn's hand covers her mouth. Tears stream down her face, but they're not tears of sadness. They're tears of completion. You earned that kiss after all, she whispers, and the microphones catch every word, broadcasting it to the watching crowd and to the internet beyond. They kiss then, in front of hundreds of people and millions of people watching through screens. It's not a kiss that answers a dare. It's a kiss that says, we survived, we learned, we became better, and we did it together. A video montage plays, Sophie sketching designs in her father's workshop, Ryan and Evelyn walking through the lab, her head resting on his shoulder. The Phoenix engine running for the first time without sabotage, without fear, just pure engineering elegance. Employees from the company volunteering at Sophie's garage, teaching underprivileged kids about engines and possibility. Customers driving Phoenix vehicles, leaving reviews that say things like, this car taught me that companies can actually care about more than profit, and driving this reminds me that second chances are real. The closing voiceover plays, Evelyn's voice mixed with Ryan's, their words overlapping like a duet. Sometimes the engines we fix aren't made of steel and fuel. They're made of pride and forgiveness, and the radical decision to believe that mistakes don't define us, that failure isn't the end, that sometimes when two broken people come together with honesty and intention, they can create something that changes the world. Ryan's voice alone. She mocked me once. Evelyn's voice. He showed me grace. Both together. And together, we learned that respect is the only engine powerful enough to drive us forward. The camera pulls back, showing all three of them, Ryan, Evelyn, Sophie, standing together on the stage, bathed in light, surrounded by people who believe in them. If you believe that respect can turn mistakes into miracles, that kindness can transform careers, and that second chances are worth fighting for, subscribe to HA Stories and share this message with someone who needs to know they deserve to start again. Because everyone deserves a chance to turn their key. Everyone deserves to roar.